Before I get into the actual review, I want to reflect back to the early summer of 2009, when everybody was surprised by the announcement by then AMPA's president Sid Ganis's decision to expand the nominees from the usual 5 slots to a whopping 10. It's been nearly 60 years since AMPA's had that many choices to make. The last time a film won Best Picture out of 10 nominees was the classic Casablanca back in 1943. While it was such a head-scratcher that Sid was even capable of doing so in the first place, it's obvious why he did it: to expand the television audience. Last year's snub of 2 of the year's biggest and most critically acclaimed films, WALL-E and The Dark Knight, left a sour taste in everybody's mouth. However, with the expansion to 10, the more populous movie will have a chance to duke it out at tonight's big award, rather than the usual Oscar fare that typically dominated the nominations. And in my opinion, it works out rather well so far. For the most part. I was really ecstatic that District 9, A Serious Man, and Up were nominated for the award. There's no way in hell they would make it in a 5-slot year, but these totally amazing films are being recognized for what they are. Totally amazing films. However, I figured that there would be at least one film that came out of nowhere and be what I call the rotten apple of the Best Picture nominee. A film that just doesn't belong there. The film I'm about to review just happens to be that rotten apple. The Blind Side is a true story about professional football player Michael Oher during his time when he was once homeless and abandoned for most of his life, until his first meeting with the Twomey family, whom they took him under their wings. From there, he shows an incredible response to adversity, as Big Mike went through an impoverished, uneducated childhood to become one of the most highly sought-after college football recruits in his class. Yet the film focuses more on the bravery and compassion that Leanne Towie, played by Sandra Bullock, had bestowed upon the young Michael Oher, played by Quentin Aaron. At its core, it's a mother and son story, and throughout the film we get to experience how much being in each other's lives changed their core values and outlook on life. This makes for a pretty charming and inspirational story, but unfortunately the film just happens to be stuck in autopilot of forced sentimentality and uninteresting film direction. Despite all the good intention that director John Lee Hancock and his producers are trying to show us, I can't help but to think of this nagging feeling. So what the film is basically saying is that it takes a white family to show a troubled black person the way, the truth, and the life. Not very PC, is it? I mean, yeah, it actually happened, and we get to see how they become a very loving family for Michael, but still, this white paternalism theme doesn't progress us out of our racist origin. Not to mention the fact that this film presents itself as so sugar sweet and lovey-dovey that I can't help but say, shouldn't I be watching this on the Hallmark Channel? I mean, this film literally doesn't have any balls. It's not really that interesting. Yeah, okay, there are some dark turns in the movie, but not really enough to balance it all out. John Lee Hancock's writing and directing just follows along the safe and trodden path of storytelling. There's no sense of wonderment or newness that he's able to show to us. It's just bland and offers no cinematic punch to sustain my attention. It's like saying, well, the story is true and inspirational enough, so I won't be messing around with the idea too much. After all, it's a feel-good movie. Just make every character likable enough and bam, no hard work done. Well, yeah, if you want to make a mediocre movie, that's fine, but I want to see a great one. Oh, and not every character is likable enough, I might add. There's this one person in the movie that I cannot stand. That kid happens to be the film's comic relief. Not only is he a terrible actor, but whatever charm or intentionally funny moments he's trying to muster just doesn't work on me. He comes off as annoying and completely full of himself. People like SJ, even with his good intentions, are the kind of people I would label as a southern brat. Pretty much every time I see him, I just want to throw a brick at him. So why the hell did this movie got nominated? Why not films that actually achieve something and are artistically competent? Like Star Trek, The Messenger, 500 Days of Summer, The White Ribbon, Crazy Heart. Hell, even The Hangover is a better choice than that film. Well, there's two big reasons. The first reason? It's a populist film. Other than Avatar and that damn New Moon movie, The Blind Side is a surprise blockbuster hit of the holidays, and the Academy really gravitates towards the sports movie that connects well with audience. The other reason? Sandra Bullock. Sandra had a bit of a career resurgence of late, with last summer's The Proposal being a surprise box office hit. Now with her career-defining performance in an even bigger box office hit, The Blind Side, the Academy figures that she carries the weight of the film onto her shoulder and feels they should award her body of work, as well as the film, with a nomination. Without her, the film would not succeed as much as it did. Sandra's performance is really the only, truly great thing about the film. Her screen presence and firecracking wit and tenacity fits the mold of Leanne Tully's character like a glove. She's one of the main focuses of the film, and Bullock makes it worth every second of it. The film's got a nomination just so Sandra can win the Best Actress Oscar. But to be honest, I think any good actress can pull off the role, and it's definitely not the best female performance I've seen this year. But I'm glad that we're finally seeing the great dramatic chops that I knew Sandra's capable of doing. Unlike our other main focus, Quentin Aaron, who's absolutely astonishing with his one-note bland expression throughout the entire movie. So overall, The Blind Side is just meh. I mean, sure, it's not really a bad movie by any means. The story's definitely heartwarming in and of itself, and I was convinced that this was a good family with a good heart, and I eventually came to like Michael Oher as a person as well as a character. But I'm a sucker for movies that take some cinematic punches. Nothing surprises me. The ensemble performances were just mediocre for the most part, with the lone exception of Sandra Bullock. The schmaltzy direction gets annoying after a while, and it's just not an exemplary movie-going experience. I pretty much forgot about the film once I left the theater. There's just no lasting impact. I'm confused how the Academy would deem this film one of the top 10 of 2009 when there are clearly better movies out there. Well, it wouldn't be the Academy Awards without some form of controversy. To my viewers out there, if you like feel-good movies, feel free to give The Blind Side a shot. Just don't expect cinematic revelation.
He begins to raise his voice, you lower yours, grant him one last choice, drive until you lose the road, a break with the ones you follow.